Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us this morning for our Real Report product showcase. I'm Samantha Pulowski. I'm a product owner here at Doorify. We're super excited this morning because we've officially launched Real Reports. Real Reports is available now as a subscriber benefit on your Doorify dashboard, which is giving you access to comprehensive AI-powered property intelligence. It's designed to cut through the guesswork and save you some time and give you clear, client-ready insights you can trust. What you have access to today is not a limited trial, but it is a full, complete, ready-to-use tool that can add value to you and your business right away. And for those who want to take it a step further, there are a couple of optional upgrades at your disposal. And as a Doorify subscriber, you'll receive those at a special discounted rate. To guide us through this platform, I'm delighted to introduce James Rogers and Brian Preston from Real Reports. They'll walk us through the wonderful things that make Real Reports a true asset to any agent's toolbox. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A chat. We'll try and get those answered either in chat in real time or at the end of the showcase. And with that, I will hand it over.
Great. Thanks, Samantha. Really appreciate it. I am James Rogers, co-founder and CEO of Real Reports. I'm going to let my colleague Brian, who's with us today, walk you all through a demo. But I just want to start off by saying we're really excited to bring Real Reports to Doorify members. Our whole team's available if you have ideas, feedback, issues. We want to hear from you. We're so excited. We've been fortunate enough to bring this to a number of folks around the country, and the feedback has been very, very positive. So looking forward to you all using the tool and talking to us about how we can always make it better for you. So with that, I'll hand over to Brian. And like I said, you can always reach us if you have more questions after the fact as well.
Great. Thanks, James. Appreciate the intro. Hey, everybody. Good morning. My name is Brian Preston, VP of Growth over here at Real Reports. Excited to bring you guys, show you what we bought, show you what we have built. Sorry about that. What I'll do is I'll take you through a couple slides, then I'll show you the tool, a couple more slides, and then I'll let you guys go for the day. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. Always happy to answer questions. So again, Brian Preston for Real Reports. Guys, the easiest way to think about Real Reports is AI supercharged Carfax for homes. And that's going to make a lot more sense in a couple of minutes. First thing I always start with is I always talk about our team. We are a team of real estate professionals. Everybody on our team is a licensed real estate agent. I myself have been licensed since 2005, sold full-time for over 15 years. James and Zach have previously founded a tech-enabled brokerage, and Lauren from our team is licensed as well. Why am I telling you this? Mostly just to tell you that we are not outsiders who have made up a problem and are bringing the solution to the problem that we have made up. We are actual real estate practitioners solving problems that we've experienced firsthand. We're also backed by some top-tier prop tech investors. Modern Ventures is probably the one you're most likely to have heard of. But as everybody knows, right, our industry is changing. It's an increasingly competitive market. There's new rules around compensation, and it's getting harder and harder for agents to differentiate themselves. And for us, that solution is Real Reports. What's Real Reports is comprehensive property information from over 60 different data providers. That number probably needs to be updated. I think we're over 65, and we're about to hit 70. And all that should tell you is that we're always adding new sources. I joined the team a little under 2 years ago. We had 20 sources, and we're pushing 70. We're always adding more information in there. And while some of this data is data you would consider MLS data, beds, baths, property taxes, things like that, a lot of this information is information you are not going to find in the MLS. It's available for every home in the United States. So while you'll be able to obviously look in your area, you guys can look anywhere you want: Washington, California, Maine, Florida, and everywhere in between. And there's a lot of information in the Real Report, which is why we have added Aiden, our AI co-pilot. We're as sick of hearing about AI as you guys probably are at this point, but we do think that the way we have introduced Aiden into the tool is a great way for you to introduce what we call practical AI into your everyday workflows. It's available exclusively for real estate agents. So while you will be sharing this with your clients and your consumers, they cannot get this information on their own. They need to go through you in order to get this information. As I mentioned, we are real estate professionals, and we want to keep real estate agents at the center of the transaction. So this is some of the data you're going to find in a Real Report. We're always adding more. You'll also see some of our sources below. As I mentioned, we're always adding more data. If there's any data that you think is interesting, please let us know. We add data all the time. I think one of our newest layers is we added liquefaction susceptibility for the San Francisco Association of Realtors. We added CAL FIRE severity zones for CRMLS. We're adding some airport noise and some other things at the request of some of your staff earlier this week. But the point is that we're always adding more data to these reports. If you think it's interesting, odds are someone else will also find it interesting. So please let us know. But that data is only valuable if you know what to do with it, which is why we have added Aiden, our AI property advisor. Aiden is able to quickly analyze thousands of data points. The easiest way to think about Aiden is if the report is the brain, Aiden is the mouthpiece for the brain. If it's in the report, Aiden can talk about it. If you've heard any stories about AI, you may have heard of something called AI hallucinations. Aiden does not hallucinate. If it doesn't know the answer, it will just tell you it doesn't know the answer. It's also able to quickly analyze and summarize complex documents like HOA and condo docs, home inspections, seller's disclosures. So the best part about it, it will analyze them, summarize them, and then it will make them part of the report. So that if you have any questions about the documents, you can just ask Aiden questions about those documents. Aiden's also been fair housing trained. So if someone were to ask a question that would be a fair housing violation, we would just tell them that. And we also know you guys spend a lot of time in the car, and typing isn't always the easiest thing to do, which is why we have a voice to chat feature. Just hold down the button and speak to it, and it will type that for you. Aiden's also multilingual, so if you speak to it in Spanish or any other number of languages, it will respond in that language. Great if you're working with multilingual clients. And we always say this, we don't think AI is going to replace real estate agents, but we do think the agents who learn to leverage AI are going to start outcompeting the ones who are not doing that. Now, one of my favorite parts about RealReports is how many different ways you can use this. I'm going to run through a couple of use cases here. I'll show you a couple more, and then we'll hop into the demo. So providing value to buyers. Guys, as everybody knows, now more than ever, agents need to show their value to their buyers. What better way than to provide them with the most comprehensive property reports in the industry? So right before you go to make an offer, you want to pull these reports and give your buyer clients everything they need to know. You can download seller's disclosures, any other documents into one spot. Then it just becomes this comprehensive repository for all the information they're going to want to know before they submit an offer. We also love it on listing presentations. You'll see Jimmy Moscoso here. He is an agent of ours. He's with the Kai's company down in South Florida. He was one of the first agents on our platform. He went on a competitive listing appointment against a dozen other agents for a $6 million listing and then ended up winning with it. He went on this podcast here talking about how he attributes a lot of that to RealReports. The sellers liked that he was tech forward. He was using the latest tools, and he knew everything there was to know about their house before he even got there. So it's all great on a listing presentation. We also love it for lead generation. What you see here is our open house flyer. So we know a lot of agents are still using paper sign-in sheets at open houses. But what if you put this flyer out that just said, this home is powered by Aiden, take Aiden on a tour of the house with you. Consumers come in, they scan that QR code, we capture their name and their email address, and then when they go through the house, they can just ask questions. They could say, hey, Samantha, can I put an ADU in the backyard? Or hey, Alan, where's the closest grocery store? The best part about it is after the open house, you'll be able to see who signed in, who downloaded or who logged into the property, but you'll also see the questions that they asked and the response that Aiden gave to them. So when you go to do follow-up, you could do a lot more pointed follow-up with those potential buyers. We love this from a risk mitigation standpoint as well. We've all heard of stories of agents and brokers being involved in lawsuits. Maybe they missed a special assessment or something in the documents. Now you can upload those, 200-300 page rules and regs documents. Aiden will summarize those, pull out all the important points, and then they can ask questions. Best part about it is there's an audit trail. So if they ask questions about it, you'll be able to come back later and say, oh, back on August 26th, you asked about special assessments. We told you there was going to be a $30,000 special assessment next year. So great way to inform your clients, but also protect yourself at the same time. And obviously from a streamlining research standpoint, when we pull these reports, we go out and we hit over 100 different APIs. It would take you hours to gather this information on your own and even longer to put it in a format that looks good and you'd be willing to take on a listing presentation. With our tool, type in an address, select your tier of the report, count to 10, and it's ready to go. And like I said, there's a ton of different ways that you can use this, whether it's with buyers or sellers, all the way from prospecting to post-sales follow-up. So I'm going to hop into the demo. Does anybody have any questions before I hop into the demo? Oh, maybe.
Brian, we've been answering questions in the chat, so if people have them,
okay, perfect.
I'll let you guys Q&A and we'll try and get to them there.
Perfect. That sounds great. So guys, what you're seeing here is the Real Report. We log into your version of the Real Report. You'll see the Doorify logo up here. It'll have Doorify colors in there. So it'll look and feel like something that you are familiar with. On the left-hand side, you'll see all the different sections of the Real Report. If you ever want to navigate quickly, all you have to do is click on that button. It will take you down to that section of the report. Up in the top, you'll see the address here. This is a Real Report created on the 21st. They're easy to share. If you hit the share button here, you can copy and paste this link and include it anywhere you want to do online marketing. You can email it right out of the platform. That QR code I showed you in the open house flyer, you can download that QR code and include it in any other printed marketing materials you have. I love, rather than putting a full house flyer, maybe outside a house in a box on the for sale sign, what if you just put a sign that said scan here to get more information? That way you can collect information and respond with the information that you need to get to them. A newer feature we launched this month is text messaging. So you can text message the link right out of the platform. We also recently added social share. So Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, easy to capture. You'll see down here that capture is turned on. If you want to generate leads, just flip this button on, and then anyone who logs into the report will need to give you their name and their email address after a couple of seconds. If you're already working with a client, you can turn this off and it won't require them to log in every time they want to look at it. You can also print these reports. We've got a nice stylized 2 or 3 page summary here that's easy to slide into an existing listing presentation. You can also print the entire report out. It's about 80 pages, so I always say make sure you're in the office or you've got your home printer fully charged up, because it probably will not survive the printing of that report. We also know that every agent is different and every client is different, which is why these reports are customizable. We have an order that we display these in, but you can always change that. You can drag and drop here to reorder the report into any order that you want to. A newer feature we also launched this summer is you can now set default settings so that you can set your order so that every time you pull a report, it will be in the order that you prefer. If there's any information that you do not want to share, it's easy to do. All you have to do is hit this eyeball and it'll hide that section. Maybe you've got buyers who are not going to rent the property, so they're not going to care about long-term or short-term rental button. Short-term rental. All you have to do is click this eyeball. It'll hide that section of the report, and they'll never know it was missing. Up here, you'll see the branding block. This will appear on every Real Report that you run. It's good to note that every Real Report is unique to the person that pulled it and the address of the property. So if we all pulled the same exact property, we'd all have different links. If we uploaded photos or documents, they would be exclusive to that agent's report. We do not cross-share documents or photos that are uploaded by an agent with other agents on the platform. You'll see here it's got the agent's photo. This would be your brokerage logo here, your name and your email address. It's got your license number, all your social media links. If you've got a page where you have all of your listings or your reviews, you can add that as well. And this will persist through every version of the reports that you pull. You'll also see here, it's got listing photos. This is an active listing inside of Doorify. For active listings, we will import all of those photos into the reports automatically for you. So if you click on this, you'll see there's 44 photos that have been uploaded there. Great way to get everything about the listing all in one place. I mentioned Aiden earlier. Right before I hopped on the call, I asked Aiden a couple of questions. I asked it, I said, what is the rental potential? You'll see it gave me both long-term and short-term rental potential, including estimated ranges, cap rates, median gross rent. We've got daily vacancy rates for short-term rentals, cap rates for that as well. It gives a little bit of commentary. Typically, as I was saying, if you're going to rent this property, you should connect with a real estate professional. I also asked it something like, where is the closest grocery store? It told me there's a Fresh Market a little less than a mile away, but it also told me that there's a Whole Foods and a Lowe's and an Aldi that are also nearby. This is great, especially for people who might not be familiar with the area, or I'll be honest, even if you are that familiar with the area, I learned a lot about my house just asking questions about what was nearby. So great information for you to share with potential buyers. I'm going to shrink Aiden because I'm a big map nerd. We added a ton of layers to the map, so I always want to show that off. I mentioned document upload as well. I don't have any documents for this property, but I do have a copy of a home inspection. So I uploaded the home inspection. You can see here that it pulled out some projects. It gave me a general summary, pulled out necessary repairs, also broke down the areas in the house that they were, priority levels in here, gave me some safety hazards, diagnosed or analyzed major systems in the house, gave some recommendations, gave some maintenance tips, and ends with a disclaimer. Just so everybody knows, there's 5 separate disclaimers that you and consumers will click before you can use the tool. when you sign in, before you upload documents, before you use the AI. So you're all protected in that regard. You may have also noticed that at the top, I want that thing here. Give me that. Sorry about that, guys. You also may have noticed up here, it's got a project list. So we partnered with a company called Clear Estimates. If you upload a home inspection, what it will provide you with is a zip code specific estimate of the repairs for that project. So you'll see it pulled out 4 projects, 2 high priority, 2 medium priority. It's easy to get an estimate. They start at $5. They're totally optional. But if you have a tight turnaround on inspections, it's a great way to get an analysis of the cost that you can feel comfortable with without having to get a bunch of contractors to come out to the house. They start at $5 and go up from there, depending on how specific you want to get, but it is a great way to save some time and give you some peace of mind. Alrighty, now I'm going to get into the data in the report. The first section is valuations. We are not a valuation company, but we work with a lot of companies that provide valuations. So depending on the tier of the report, you'll see anywhere from 3 to 8 different valuations. And you'll notice down here that there's quite a spread. You've got the lowest valuation at around 500 and 2 up here around 621. Guys, this is a great talking point, especially if you're talking to sellers. They're going to ask you about the Zillow estimate. They're going to ask you about Redfin. But what you can say is like, look, guys, the robots don't always know. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 different AVMs, and none of them really agree on the price of the property. And that's why you're hiring me. I'm a real estate expert, and that's the one you want to trust. We've also made it easy for agents to provide their own valuation. You can see these are kind of spread out, and after you do an analysis, you might decide and say, I think this house is going to be worth 560 to 575. Hit the save button here. And then the first thing that will appear in the valuation section will say, Brian's estimated valuation range. That way you are presented as the expert. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but it's easy to do. If you don't do it, no one will ever know that you did not do that. We've got permits for the property here. So you can see they did some work on this property. Looks like they did, what do we got here? We've got some heat pump replacement back in 2010, some other work here. So easy to find permits. You'll see on the map, there's also some permits for other properties that have been pulled in the area. And you'll notice as I scroll through, the map is going to change. It's dynamic. So depending on the section of the report, it will display certain layers. You can turn them on and off, and so can consumers. They can turn those layers on and off. Next section is zoning. So you'll see it's going to show a detailed zoning map of the property. If I click on the map, you'll be able to see, okay, this is in R4 residential area. Over here nearby is going to be, looks like it's a church. So this is probably a special office or mixed use area over here. So great way for you to get an idea of the zoning on the property and what other zoning is around the property. It's also got things like permitted uses, conditional uses. If you really want to, you can click on this link and it will take you to the full municipal zoning documentation for that area. We've got long-term rentals. You'll see if I click on the link here, it's going to give me HUD fair market rents for the Raleigh area. It's also putting the comps that it is pulled for the rentals on the map there as well. And you can see those comps down here with the monthly rent, the beds, baths, and the size. For short-term rental, we partner with AirDNA, so you'll be able to get estimated monthly revenue, nightly rates, how many nights a month you could expect to rent that, how much you could expect to rent it for, what's the cap rate. You'll also see down here, these are actually links out to Airbnb and VRBO listings for short-term rental comps. If you click on this, it'll actually take you to that page, and you can look at it and figure out how much of a comp it actually is for your property. Excuse me. We've got tons of financial information. So you'll see we've got the owner's mortgage amount, their rate, the term, when it started, estimated balance, their combined LTV. We've got loan and transaction history as well, tax information, so current tax rolls. But we've also got tax history. I think for this property goes back to 2001. So almost 25 years of tax history on the property. If it was in an HOA, there'd be some information in there about the annual fees or the monthly fees. We do not have access to rules and regs. The only way they would be included in the report is if someone uploaded them into the document. Now you'll notice here the map is turned into a detailed parcel boundary map. So if I zoom in, I'll be able to see the specific outlines for the property. If I click on the neighbor's house, I can get a little bit of information about that. If I want to get the report, it's easy enough. I just click this button here and it will pull a real report for the neighbor's property. So great way to get an idea of exactly what the boundary lines are going to look like for that house and other houses in the neighborhood. Got ownership information. So you can see these, it's an owner occupied property. They lived there for about 20 years. Lots of information about neighborhood points of interest. So you can see everything from, grocery stores, police stations, firehouses. You've got restaurants, shopping, transportation, recreation. You can see them all plotted out on the map there to give you an idea of what's going on in the area. You'll also see that there's a ton of other layers in this section you can turn on. If you wanted to see a detailed congressional district map, all you have to do is turn this on and it'll tell you where the boundary lines are. If there's any federal lands nearby, you can click this button. Looks like there's a little bit right there. Maybe you want to see if there's anything on the National Register of Historic Places. All those purple dots will show you that. So tons of additional information you can turn on and off there. We've got neighborhood schools, school district information, everything from high-level school district to elementary, middle, and high school attendance zones. We've got school ratings from grade schools for both public and private schools nearby. Tons of building and site characteristics. These are traditional tax record stuff you would find, beds, baths, square footage, things like that. Site information, how big is the lot? What's the land use, public water and sewer, detailed latitude, longitude, municipal information, full legal description, block, plot, all those kinds of things. I've also got tons of utility and energy information. So you'll see here, we've got utility pricing in the area, including the provider, based on the cost of electricity and how large the house is and some other factors. You can see what the estimated electricity usage for the year and the monthly costs would be. We've also got oil, propane, and natural gas pricing when available. You'll also notice on the map over here, you can see that we've recently added cell phone coverage. So what you'll see here, all these dots are cell phone towers, and the circles indicate the strength of the signal and the coverage area as well. If you've got people who maybe have an electric car or a natural gas powered car, you can turn on alternative fueling stations. All these dots are places where they can either charge or fill their car. So good information to have, especially again, for people maybe in town or out of town. We've got solar estimates. So approximately what would it cost you to install a solar system and how much would it save you? HVAC. So if you're going to have mini splits, how much would that cost and save you? A ton of information on government incentive programs that are available in the area. We've got a lot of information on internet speeds. You guys are lucky enough to have Google Fiber rocking that 8,000 megs, which is awesome. But you can also see that there's a number of other providers that are available as well. As I mentioned, we've got cell phone coverage. Looks like AT&T has the best coverage in this area. Lots of environmental data is available here. Now you'll notice the map has turned into a flood map. You can see there's a couple areas here. This property is not in a flood zone, but if you were going to buy flood insurance, what would it cost now? Or risk rating after risk rating 2.0. Tons of information you can see. Are there any dams or faults? Mineral rights, national forests, seismic hazard, wetlands, wildfire risks nearby. So a lot of good environmental data. Tons of information about the daily weather of the property, area resiliency to natural disasters. This is a very low risk area. Looks like lightning and hail are the highest risks that you guys might find in the area. We've got remodel estimates. So if you're going to do projects, if you're going to do projects, how much would they cost? How much would they add to the house? Got a lot of hazard information as well. So we've got county level radon scores. These are not specific to the property, but they are averages for the county. You've also got nearby hazardous facilities. If the property's ever been in the news and the media, it'll be in there as well. We've got tons of census data, both by tract and by county. So you can see, we've got income, population, housing size, heat source, commuting, employment, language, all that good information you would find in the census. Oh, come on, buddy. There we go. We've also got crime data. So we've got crime trends in the area. We've also got sex offender registry data as well. You can see if there's any of them nearby. And finally, market stats. So what's been going on in the market for the last 30 days and the last 6 months. That's it. Any questions about any of the data in the report? I'm sure you guys are handling questions in there. So a couple more slides, and then again, we can go full Q&A about that. Let me 1 second here. So there are 3 tiers of the Real Report: snapshot, buyer, and seller. The easiest way to think about that is good, better, and best. If it's in the snapshot, it's in the buyer. If it's in the buyer, it's in the seller. So as a member of Doorify, you're going to get a couple of benefits. One is you're going to get a free Real Report subscription. If you were going to buy that on your own, that would cost you $10 a month or $120 a year. As a Doorify member, you receive that complimentary. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just one of the many benefits you get for being a member of Doorify. Once you have that subscription, it entitles you to a couple things. First thing is unlimited snapshot reports. So you can pull as many of them as you want, and please do. We love when people use them. If you're going to go show a couple of houses, go pull all the snapshot reports, share them with your consumer, and then maybe they're going to write an offer. Then it's time to upgrade to a buyer or seller tier to get them the most information. If you are going to upgrade, you're going to get a 33% discount on buyer and seller reports. So instead of 15 and 20, they're going to be 10, or 15 and 30, they're going to be 10 and $20. They'll all be branded to Doorify, and you'll also have access to premium features like the AI document and photo analysis and client collaboration. We're also going to automate snapshot reports for all of your listings. So every time you add a listing into Doorify, we're going to send you an email. It'll look something like this, and it'll give you access to your report. Again, use them in marketing, use them, share that with your seller, show them that you're doing some extra work for them as well. Again, it'll be right in your inbox within an hour of your listing going live. It'll typically be in your inbox. It's easy to get started. If you go into your SSO dashboard, you should see a big RR for RealReports. Click on that. It will take you right into your dashboard. It's easy enough. Enter an address. Like I said, any address in the United States. Select the tier of the report that you are interested in, and you're ready to go. It's that simple. On our end, what can you expect from RealReports? Fast and responsive support. If you've got questions, we're always here to answer those questions. We build new features and add new data all the time. So if there is anything that you would like to see in a RealReport, please let us know. We're always doing adding things to the report. I'm sure Alyssa and Samantha and Alan can attest. We send an email out every month just to keep everybody up to date with all of the features and data that we're adding into the reports. We'll do regular webinars and trainings like this. If you're ever interested, we also do a monthly webinar for all of our participants. Sometimes it's about RealReports, sometimes it's just about AI and technology in real estate. We have a full education hub. It's got FAQs, use cases, and video walkthroughs, everything from an 18-minute full walkthrough to a 30-second, how do I do this one thing? If you ever have any questions, we're easy to get a hold of. It's usually just our first name at realreports.ai. That's all I have for you today. Happy to stick around and answer any questions you guys might have. But again, we're excited to have you guys on the platform, excited for you to start using it, and we can't wait to see what you guys are able to do with it.
Thank you so much, Brian. This was great. And James, thanks for helping out in the chat. It was greatly appreciated.
A lot of good ones in there.
Yes, a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz. So thank you again, James and Brian, and everyone for joining us today. A few things that popped up in the chat a couple of times. This is available right now on your Doorify dashboard. All you need to do is go under the Other Services section and click on the purple RealReports or RR tile, and you'll get immediate access into RealReports. We encourage you to explore it, make it part of your workflow, and see how it elevates your client conversations. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our support team. We're happy to get those answered for you. And we will also have additional training as mentioned, and we will add these to our training calendar, also accessible from our Doorify dashboard.
Great.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to talking to you guys. See ya.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.